Most people think they know the story of David and Goliath. It's the children's Bible version. A shepherd boy. A giant. One smooth stone. One perfect shot. Fade to black. But that's not the story the Bible actually tells. Because the stone wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something far more disturbing. And far more intentional. Tonight, I want to slow the story down. I want you to stay on the battlefield after the giant falls. Because what David does next is usually skipped, softened, or ignored entirely. And yet, it's written plainly in the text. David didn't just defeat Goliath. He beheaded him. And then, he carried the head around. Let's talk about why. Picture the scene. Two armies stand on opposite hills. Israel on one side. The Philistines on the other. Every morning, the ground shakes as Goliath steps forward. 9 feet tall. Bronze armor. A spear like a weaver's beam. And he doesn't just threaten Israel, he humiliates them. Send me a man, he says. Let us fight. But no one moves. Not the soldiers. Not the officers. Not even King Saul, the tallest man in Israel. Fear hangs thick in the air. For 40 days. And then, a boy shows up with bread and cheese. David isn't there to fight. He's there to deliver lunch. But when he hears the giant mocking the living God, something shifts. Where everyone else sees a monster, David sees a man defying heaven. And that difference matters. When David steps onto the battlefield, we fixate on the sling. But the sling isn't the most important weapon in the story. Because the sling doesn't finish the job. David slings the stone. It flies. It sinks into Goliath's forehead. The giant falls face first into the dirt. At this moment, most sermons end. Victory music plays. Faith is rewarded. The underdog wins. But Scripture doesn't stop there. Instead, it says something shocking. The battlefield goes silent. No cheering yet. No celebration. David doesn't raise his arms. He runs forward. And this is where the story turns dark. David has no sword of his own. So he stands over the fallen giant. And takes Goliath's sword. This massive weapon, meant to kill Israelites, is now in the hands of a shepherd boy. And then the text says it plainly, David cuts off Goliath's head. Not symbolically. Not metaphorically. Literally. Blood in the dirt. Steel through flesh. The champion of the Philistines reduced to a corpse. Only then do the Philistines run. Not when the stone hits, but when the head comes off. And here's the part almost no one mentions. David doesn't drop the head. He takes it with him. Imagine that. A teenage boy walking off the battlefield holding the severed head of a giant. Scripture tells us David brings Goliath's head to Jerusalem. Not immediately, but intentionally. He keeps it. Carries it. Displays it. Why? Because in the ancient world, a severed head was proof. Proof the enemy was truly dead. Proof the threat was ended. Proof of victory. But this was more than military custom. This was theology. David wasn't just saying, I won. He was saying, the thing that mocked God has been silenced. The mouth that cursed Israel, cut off. The eyes that looked down on God's people, closed. The head that planned violence, removed. This wasn't cruelty for cruelty's sake. It was finality. David understood something we often forget. Some enemies are not meant to be managed. They are meant to be ended. The giant wasn't wounded. He wasn't embarrassed. He wasn't knocked down temporarily. He was destroyed. The Bible doesn't sanitize this moment. It wants you to feel the weight of it. Because David's victory wasn't clean or comfortable. It was decisive. God didn't just shrink Goliath. He removed him from the story entirely. And when David carried that head, it became a message. To Israel, the battle is over. To the Philistines, your champion is gone. To David himself, remember what God has done. Sometimes faith looks like a stone. And sometimes it looks like finishing the fight. We love sling because it's inspirational. But the sword reminds us of something harder. Victory isn't always neat. Deliverance can be violent. Judgment can be bloody. And God's triumph doesn't always fit into a children's storybook. David didn't just trust God to knock the giant down. He trusted God enough to end it completely. And that's the part we skip. But maybe it's the part we need to remember most.